Nawaz Sharif taking over. Then Nawaz Sharif also is still running into very difficult position. It's not a smooth sailing as some people see from outside. Inside it's a very difficult, very complicated situation. But one thing about Nawaz Sharif is very sure that he, as a Kashmiri, is not capable of doing any wrong to Kashmiris. If he cannot do any good to them, he cannot do any wrong to them as a Kashmiri. He has that sentimental, emotional attachment with it. And that is where I feel satisfied that if nothing wrong is done deliberately by design to Kashmiris, then the Kashmir issue on its own way will continue snowballing and moving ahead. And that will provide us an opportunity to get finally settled. But there again, for a final settlement, as I must have seen through reports, various reports, that I've been emphasizing that it should not be a settlement to use of arms.
Yes.
But it has to be lasting settlement. It has to be by coordination, cooperation, understanding between the two leaderships on both sides and the Kashmiris also. They have to play the main role in that. And lately, within the last 1 year, a lot of interaction between the international community and moving towards Kashmir and all over, particularly the Americans and the Britishers. I have sensed the same thing. Rather, I have tried to suggest that idea to them and convince them that it is not sticking to the show and the gallery, to what Indian leadership is saying, or what Pakistani leadership is saying, but it requires us to go back to the factual position, see that it is resolved on that account. And for that I have been suggesting that we hold a meeting of the recognized Kashmiri leadership on both sides of the ceasefire line, so that they could also sit together and find a way out whether it's possible to resolve it amicably or not. So in that sense, I think one could say that the government of Pakistan, for genuine reasons, either they were not capable or they were not able to wriggle out of that captivity of circumstances that I referred to. But the desire on the part of the leadership here has always been there, besides being sentimental about it, that this issue has got to be resolved if there has to be lasting peace on the subcontinent. But unfortunately, no specific moves were made except in the time of Ziaul Haq. And then, of course, now we expect Nawaz Sharif to move ahead in different directions. So this is how I view it so far. I don't know, maybe we cannot dig out the whole history. But
no, but may I just make a collateral question?
Yes.
Very interesting. Fall of East Pakistan, 71, and the leadership, the civil leadership of Sardar Muhammad Abul that took over. He was very passionate about Kashmir.
He was.
And his public statements, press statements, and were equally. But he was equally passionate about East Pakistan.
That's right.
In the United Nations. But East Pakistan went away overnight. East Pakistan is going. He's taking over. They're taking over. Then for several years trying to consolidate his position already, although he had a majority. Would it have even what I would say, made the Kashmir issue difficult for him to pursue as passionately as he was searching? Because he was already on the defensive. And could that have spoiled or could that have postponed what could have been achieved in the early 70s?
Madam, I'm not very sure. I'm not pronouncing any verdict on this. But I all along felt that Mr. Bhutto, despite his capability, skill, and very high intellect, which I have always admired, was at the same time capable of catering to different sides at the same time. I mean, he was not a man with conviction. I'm sorry to say this. He was a man. He was a man with intellectual skill, not with conviction. If he ever had conviction, he would have made a very great man of history, and he would have been a different man. But he did not believe in anything specifically, whether in Kashmir or Pakistan or East Pakistan or anything else. But he dealt with it only intellectually, from the intellectual point of view, what suited him intellectually within that. So that is why when similar agreement was being signed, he made certain diplomatic concessions which I supported and I still support. That there was no way out for him except to make those diplomatic concessions. But whether one should have believed in those concessions or not, that was the point where I differed with him all the time. And I argued with him. And he
suffered for it?
I suffered for it. But with similar agreement, I think he was mentally reconciled to the partition of Kashmir. And he, in fact, had made a very categorical statement during his visit to Muzaffarabad. And his party, of course, the People's Party in Azad Kashmir, had already declared it in their own manifesto to make Azad Kashmir a province of Pakistan. So he was, and till very date, there in the photo, it contained in the manifesto and the constitution that Azad Kashmir should be made a province of Pakistan. So they were reconciled. But of a few people who were not reconciled to it and who stuck to their position, I am perhaps the one who fought against it all the time. And I hope you remember when he toured Azad Kashmir. And I recorded this in my books and my articles and speeches also, that I said to Mr. Bhutto during that tour, we were driving together in a car, moving somewhere, I don't know.
This was in 72 also?
72, yes. This was the time when Indian government had started propagating that Bhutto wants to convert Azad Kashmir into a province. And a lot of propaganda on the radio and the media. So I said to Bhutto, did you monitor, did you see those reports monitored about your statements? When he had said that you're hanging in between and you decided to do that. He said, no, what do the Indians say? I said, they say that Bhutto wants to make Azad Kashmir province of Pakistan and he will not let him do it. He said, do they say that? I said, yes, they say that. But I said, do you know why they say this? He said, why do they say this? I said, because they know your temperament and they're just provoking you to make Azad Kashmir a province of Pakistan. And he laughed. He said, do they really mean that? I said, yes. So we actually went into a lot of exercise, intellectual exercise, to dissuade him from doing what he really originally had intended to do. But as I said, intellectually, he neither believed in making Azad Kashmir province, nor disbelieved in it. So I mean, he believed in everything and nothing at the same time. That was being convictionist. So it took us a lot of exercise and a very painful exercise, lobbying inside the government, outside the government, amongst the diplomats and friends and Arabs and others to stop him from doing that. And then he stopped him from doing that. So
you were successful.
Well, so yes. Yes.
And as far as I recall, in 1976, just before he announced the new election, he had given some definitive statements about Kashmir.
That's right.
If you remember, and maybe some people, of course, said that, oh, this is an elected stunt because for Punjab, he was a bit apprehensive of Punjab having nationalized the middle class, rolling mills and the flour factories and things like that. So he thought that he had lost the middle class, or he might lose the middle class sympathy and vote bank that he had in Punjab. And also by legislating this issue of Qadianis being non-Muslim, there was this big vote bank for him also. So he gave definite statements. And I quite understand what you say, but then you're a very discerning leader, a discerning person. But it is very significant that a possible thing happened in 71, 72. East Pakistan going like that.
Oh,
It not have happened. And Kashmir's situation.
Well, that is why I said to you that I supported the diplomatic concessions
Yes.
which he made, because I knew the predicament that he was in and the difficulties which we were going through. And
That is an understanding person. I mean, I don't think that it is very easy
no, it's not easy.
to have. But then you understood, you see. That's political sagacity, I should say.
Something more interesting. When he was preparing to go to Simla, you remember he called leaders from different sections of opinion.
Yes.
People from all shades of opinion, he invited for consultation. I was also invited. And he said, what do you have to say about my condition? I said, there are two things which I want to say. One is that you have got to make concessions when you go there. There's no way out. And the concession will come only on Kashmir. There's nothing else that you can concede. They said, what do you want me to do? I said, I want, if I were to suggest, I said, I would like to suggest you go to Indira Gandhi and tell her that, sister, let us not quarrel over everything, and let us settle down peacefully. And we can make such concessions as I can go back and explain to my people, not beyond that. And I said, after all, you can tell us that you are a big country, and you have made us realize that you are a big country, unfortunately, through a war which we have fought. But let us not stretch it beyond that, so we can stay where we are. Number two, I said, while making concessions on Kashmir, maybe Kashmiris are required to participate in the I have not known till then that there was a move, specific move behind this.
I see.
So I just out of my own vision, I could see what would happen. So I said, if that is done, then I'll suggest that you refuse categorically taking any Kashmiris along with you to Simla. He said, why? Then I could see, when he questioned, I could see there was something serious behind it. I said, Mr. Prime Minister, you take Kashmiris with you from this side. We know that some concessions will have to be made. Now, if we go there, Kashmiris, we will either have to accept those concessions or disagree with them. If we accepted those concessions, then they will be final. And they should not be final because it's only a diplomatic move. And if we disagreed with you, your position would be jeopardized. Therefore, please don't do it. So he immediately picked up the telephone, rang up somebody, and he said, you tell the Indians that we are not bringing any Kashmiris along with us. Then I knew that there was a specific move behind.
That is a tremendous foresight you had.
Kashmiris on both sides were to be invited.
You saved him from his blunder.
Actually, he was saved. And I have not known anything before that time. So that is how Mr. Batu has been moving, and I lent as much support to him as I could, in fact, taking into consideration his intellectual caliber. But of course then he was moving very fast. Once he asked me, he said, what is wrong with my policy that you find? I said, Mr. Batu, have you seen a jet fly? He said, sorry. He said, yes, we see it. I said, no, the jet with leaves behind that smoke screen. He said, yes, I have seen it. What do you mean? I said, it makes a very thick screen, but then it gets diluted after a while, after it has passed away. That's what you are doing. He said, I don't understand.
Very good analogy.
I said, you're moving very fast. You're leaving deep impressions, but those impressions are just, they get diluted, you see, after you have moved out. You move so fast that the impression cannot stabilize. So that will lead you nowhere. I said, in your policy. That is how I viewed his policy. I looked at him, what he was doing. He seemed to be in a hurry. Either as a fatalist Muslim, I believe that he had to die in his own time. He had to complete his tenure, life tenure or something. But he was moving very fast. And I was always apprehensive that he will break his neck somewhere, you see, and bang against something, come into clash with something. And that's what happened with him. But I enjoyed company with him. And whenever we were together, I think in about few minutes' time we could have we covered the whole world affairs. So it was nice talking to him, and his comprehension and understanding of international affairs and national affairs was tremendous. And yet another incident, we were together in Mirpur, and we fell out with our political workers in a dialogue, and we were very rude to each other.
What year was that?
I think I wasn't present myself, but workers of my party, he had invited them to a talk. And during the course of talk, he lost temper, they also lost temper with him. And then the next day, I went off a taxi. Next day when we got up, he said, he was invited to a party by his party members that day. And then he told me to convey to his party workers that he was not going to.
Were you president then?
I was the president and he was the prime minister. He said, tell them to cancel that line. By that time I had that report, last night's report. I said, what is wrong with the prime minister? Are you angry over what happened last night? Oh, he said, no, what sort of politics are you in? We do this every day to political workers, I don't mind that at all. And then what is wrong with you? Why are you not, why you want this line to be cancelled? When I insisted repeatedly, then he said the simple fact is that, passenger is coming for dialogue, and I want to be fit for talks with him. And he didn't eat anything the whole day, just to be fit for talks with the passenger. And this is very typical of a man's intellect, that instead of eating too much for going to talk to see, he wanted to be empty stomach for talks. And he was very brilliant and bright at those talks. So I was there myself. So there are many things about Mr. Bhutto that I have learned, and we had enjoyed being together or being apart, you see, both ways.
But the main issue lies that Kashmir did have a setback, the problem there.
Yes.
Earlier also during Ayub Khan's time, Mr. President, you've been let down many times by very great leaders of Pakistan, and I suppose that Field Marshal Ayub Khan initially was not, but I think the superpower pressure on him was very great, and the foreign officer pressure. In those days, I think our foreign office was definitely lobbying, and I won't ask you to speak on that because there was a war with China fought with India, and that was the time Kashmir's problem could have been solved militarily. But we lost militarily with India on two counts, Kashmir and then East Pakistan. Now, may I ask you another thing which correlates with this to a certain extent? We, the so-called educated people in Balochistan or Sindh, find that the Kashmir problem agitates the mind of people, more average people of Punjab and Punjab. Where Sindh is concerned and Balochistan is concerned, an average person, I don't think will think about it.
That's true.
And that has agitated our mind because it's not that we don't have problems of our own in Sindh or we don't have problems of our own in Balochistan. Because an average man in Pakistan, I think all over, whether it's Punjab or Sindh or Punjab or even Kashmir, the problems are the same and they're all agitated about their own problems. But there are bigger issues like when Saddam Hussein this attack came on Kuwait. The average man was very much aware, and they had their own feelings about certain things. I agree that it was also given a sort of a boost by certain interested people or certain interested groups in our country. But I do feel that in the long run, the average man, or the average people or the intellectual people, or people who, you see, if they felt in Balochistan and Sindh as strongly as in Punjab, even the frontier, I don't think there's much reaction towards Kashmir problem.
No, I think frontier is the same.
You think so?
Yes,
All right.
In
spite of the Afghanistan,
yes.
they are very aware. Or maybe it's a geographical condition.
That's right.
Maybe
That
it is because
the
it
main
is near
factor.
Kashmir.
That is the main factor.
But I still feel that an average Sindhi or a Baluchi does feel about any downtrodden people. It's not only that they are very inward looking. They may have become over the years, but even like our poets, for instance, they used to write in Khilafat time, they used to write about Turkey. I mean, they had not seen Turkey.
They're not.
Why is it you think that, or may I say that, what is the reason why that the average man in these two provinces, and I think that would make a big difference also, because public opinion is a very, very important factor in these matters. Governments can take their position, and governments are the final authority in doing anything. But what is the reason, do you think? I mean, what would be your idea? It's just your thought, and maybe you have some ideas about it. Why?
I really don't think there could be 100% acceptable reply to some of this. For example, you refer to Saddam. Now, the amount of emotional uprising in common man in Pakistan and even elsewhere, even in the United States, just cannot be explained.
Yes.
I mean, what connection did the people have with Saddam, who is the villain of the history?
Exactly.
But everybody in Pakistan, and they did not kill me, but over my statements, people would have lynched me if they could. But I could clearly see that it was very wrong on the part of people to go with Saddam, but they did. So
in the little villages, remote villages,
yes,
they have the
remote
photograph.
yes, remote villages where our own local leaders are not recognized.
Exactly.
They recognize Saddam.
That's very, very pertinent what you said, that local leaders are not. Local ministers, for
Yes.
instance, are not recognized,
Yes.
but Saddam was recognized.
So there cannot be an explanation to all these.
No, but what I meant was that probably is it that the part of the provincial government, which they should, because the provincial government is an extension of the federal government.
That's right.
All the parties in power.
No, I was coming to that. That was one I was saying, that there are many things which will never be explained.
Yes.
They keep happening, but they're not explained logically or mathematically. Secondly, I think we have in Pakistan somehow or the other a lack of leadership or being captives of international interaction, and there are conspiracies against Pakistan which is very existent. Somehow or the other, we have not been able to forge that unity of thought within Pakistan itself. And on the other hand, the reverse of it has been happening. You see this Bengalis and then Punjabis and then Sindhis and all these various nationalities. The idea of various nationalities has been projected. It is so alluring, tempting, attractive idea of nationality because everybody, you can make anybody understand what is to be a Sindhi or a Punjabi, but to be a Pakistani then becomes second consideration.
By virtue of this, Mr. President, Kashmiri as a nationality should have been recognized the problems. I mean, they should have felt the same. I mean, if they're not getting autonomy or if they're not getting...
yes, because the people became busy with themselves.
With themselves.
Yes, they're more inward looking, you see, they had outward
looking,
yes. And somehow or the other, we in Kashmir, we've been resisting this. We are the only people who are resisting this. Otherwise, everybody is led away very easily, more easily, and this doesn't need to be explained. It is already explained.
Well, Mr. President, I think during the freedom movement, Pakistan movement, Sindhis, the politicians were not inward looking. They also
No,
wanted
they were
to-
not. They were not. Yes.
It is when they come to
Exactly.
and when they start ruling themselves, and then the aspirations are not fulfilled, I suppose.
Yes, that's right.
Of ordinary man, and what is the aspiration? It's not an international event. It is a basic living conditions and
That's
security
right.
of
We
life.
are not attended to that. You see, the aspirations which we raise in the minds of the people ourselves by propaganda, by other media, we have not reduced them to practical terms to any extent. I find people far away from what they've been claiming and what they were wanting to do or what they wanted others to do. But practically, we have not done anything. So it has been total disappointment. The concept of Pakistan is becoming absolutely obscure, and it's not clear what we really mean by Pakistan. What has it to be economically? What has it to do to the common man? The honor, life, and property of the common man is still in jeopardy as much as it would have been. I think it is in worse position than it was in during the time of the British rule. I went through Balochistan, in the interior of Balochistan, quite a number of times, and that was really a very pathetic scene I came across. We were moving through a small bazaar somewhere in Salat or some other place, and I just stood around, people not knowing who I was, and I just wanted to see people, how they behave, and the local people. An elderly lady was trying to purchase some sort of a footgear for her son, a grown-up son. And they were debating over the price, sort of 10 rupees. I gave 10 rupees to the shopkeeper, I said, give it to this lady. And then she purchased it and asked that young son to put it on in my presence. He put it on, and she had tears in his eyes. And I said, what's wrong with you? She said, this is the first time that I've seen my son wearing footwear. So I said to my friends around, I said, what do you do with Pakistan to this lady? Who's been deprived of this basic necessity which everybody should have enjoyed. So that is what actually has been wrong with the whole system, that we have not through a system, we have not institutionalized the good that we wanted to sell to Pakistan. So those values they still remain unfulfilled.
The other thing, and the last one, I won't have taken a lot of your time, Mr. President, I'm sorry. It's only because I think I am a Pakistani in this sense. When I went to Kashmir as a member of the Commission on the Status of the Pakistan Commission, it was a very high-powered commission set up. 85 we went there. And we went to Kashmir, Azad Kashmir, in Jammu. We felt that it's a part of us, and we have to. And we traveled from one end to the other. You have shown me many places in 72. And this time I went to newer places right from Poonch. There I found that the economic conditions, the basic infrastructure for health, literacy, is exactly like in the rural areas of Pakistan, especially in the three provinces, Balochistan, Sindh, and up the northern frontier, and southern Punjab. We have divided into zones, and these are all, and that is about 3/4 of Pakistan. Excepting in small towns, we went to Rawalakot and these little places, but what impressed me was, or any of our members, our chairman was Begum bin Sarfaraz, a very great fighter of the Pakistan movement, that there were youngsters who had done their medicine in Dow Medical College, who had done their engineering in MAD College or Dow's College. And there were a lot of Kashmiris in those days, or in early days, in Karachi, earning from the rock bottom of domestic servants or chowkidars, right up to the educated people. And they were from Azad Kashmir. north from the valley who had settled down in Pakistan. But they left all that they could have got through. Those days still there was a lot of jobs available, and especially for doctors and engineers. They came back to these little villages and they served their people. Number one, that's interesting. Number two, I suppose maybe it's the water of the beautiful valley or the beautiful Kashmir that which is extraordinarily beautiful. I've seen many beautiful countries, and even my friend is very beautiful in many ways. But this beauty is something different. Or apart from that, maybe it's the zeal of knowing that they have to fight to survive.
Yes.
But I felt that Sindh or Balochistan is as much as in danger as other Kashmir and Jammu, because any time there can be an attack. So what those Kashmiri people felt, I think the youth of our people should feel also, because we are not safe.
Yes.
Pakistan, as you yourself you have seen with your great experience and wisdom and a long political life and even military life to that extent, you know. But what appalled us was that we heard that there were many funding going on early days for creating infrastructure in the other areas, like in Neelam Valley and all. There was nothing absolutely. And I don't know, there were Pakistan government officials like chief secretaries and education secretaries and all the bureaucracy usually came from Pakistan. What appalled us was that in 1986, I think what I saw in 72 and 96, there was absolutely no difference. Excepting in Muzaffarabad, there were one or two more buildings. I had not seen Meerpur, because Meerpur, I believe, the people abroad in Kashmir usually bring and they come from Meerpur. So, what I say is that, do you feel that it is because of this tension that the Kashmiri leaders have over the occupied? They are not doing, or they are not doing it just like Pakistani leaders, because we are all going through the same problem. I mean, we are all in danger. Whether same Balochistan, Frontier, Punjab, we are all in danger. As Azad Kashmir is in danger of being attacked any time.
But I think we have very seriously defaulted in the national planning. The national planning is left to bureaucracy. And that you can call bureaucratic planning, but not national planning. Wherever you go, you will find that some planning has been done in this sector and that sector, and there is no coordination ultimately to evaluate the cost-benefit ratio and the returns that is supposed. Most of the time it has been a counterproductive plan. It was for the first time in the 70s that I had the opportunity to set up the planning department. Until 1970, there was no planning department at all in our office. So it was planned. And whatever little has been happening ever since, it was based on that planning, which should have been modified all these years, many a time. It should have been modified. But unfortunately, nobody really attended to that, and it is where it is. Therefore, there is not much of visible impact. But inside, I mean, inherently, whenever you come again, you will see that there is a lot of improvement in education sector, in communication, in medical care, and of course in the social sector, I don't think we have been able to do much in the social sector, but these 3-4 main sectors, we've not been able to do much in the agriculture sector. We've not been able to do much in the income generating sectors, for example, mining and forestry and
great natural resources.
Great natural resources and the hydro generation. For example, we could have been more than self-sufficient, surplus in hydro generation, but we've not been able to do that. That is mostly because of the casual approach we have had to these problems, mostly because of that uncertainty about doing this, how would it reflect on Kashmir and Kashmir issues in our struggle and so on and so forth. So we became absolutely casual, waiting as if something was going to happen tomorrow and the after tomorrow. We were waiting for that. So it has been because lack of planning on that.
Isn't it sad that all over Pakistan is the same condition? But do you think our governments also feel so helpless or so tense that they are there, the Pakistanis are just temporary?
That is where you need leadership to that. It has to be leadership which gives you guidance in all sectors. The leadership we have had seeks guidance from bureaucracy. And bureaucracy is incapable of providing any guidance. They are only an executive agency. They can execute what you give them. But we've been asking them to plan for us and execute for us and sit in the box of the leadership, which has not been working. And unless the nation is so good, we have such a fine bureaucracy, no doubt about it. But left to itself, it cannot give you any guidance.
It is a universal factor that the Mandarin in China failed. And the British who followed it up, they had different methods of using the bureaucracy. They used them very well. But there's an interesting factor. This is, I would like to end, it is very kind that you've given me, very kind of you giving so much time, that I find the equality and misery between Pakistanis and Kashmiris.
Of course.
And
they're the same people.
And in Neelam Valley, I do write, I'm a writer and I write mostly literature. And when I saw the river, Neelam River, and I went into it, and I sat on the rock, and I told the chief secretary was with us and the rest of the people. There were about 12 of us ladies, including our chairman, Begum Hari Safaraz, and other members from 4 different provinces. We were all from every province. And 3 members, 4 members each. So I said, we will not have lunch at the rest house. We will have lunch on the rocks here, because there is nothing more beautiful than to sit here and contemplate. Then I saw a woman, and she was sitting in the corner, and she was clean, but she had a very tattered kind of jura. She was middle-aged. So I called her, I said, come here and tell me, how is life here? So she told me that they had nothing there. But I said, we are very important. I just told her, because I'm used to talking to village level, I'm a rural-oriented and rural-based, because I'm an agriculturist myself, as you know. So we talk to them like this, people understand that, look, we have some pull with the government. If you want anything, tell us, particularly, because suddenly we see you here. And maybe, and our chairman also said that, ask her, maybe we can help her, because she looked so forlorn, alone there. So she looked at us, and we asked her, she had sons. She had, I think, 2 sons who were not employed. And they would go up to the mountains in winter and then come back and do paddy plantation, which was very good. I was impressed because without tractors, without anything, these mountain paddy agriculture was excellent. And I used to tell my own agricultural labor that in Kashmir, without tractors, if you see the kind of paddy they grow, why is it in the plains with rich land and with the tractors you cannot grow that? I used to give them. You know what she told us, Mr. President? She said, look, I don't want anything because today you are very kind, you come to me today. There are our leaders also, maybe if I travel to Muzaffarabad, I could come. I just, हमें भी तालीम दो, हम औरतों को. But हमें तालीम दो तो हमारा सब कुछ होगा. Can you imagine that woman absolutely alone and illiterate? And this we got whether in Balochistan, rural areas, whether in Sindh, whether in Punjab.
We are much better off in that sector compared to anywhere in Pakistan. The rate of literacy in Azad Kashmir, all told, is about 45%. And the rate of attendance is about 98%. So, given this situation, another 4 or 5 years, we will have 100% literacy.
That is what
whereas in Pakistan, it is still below 15%.
No, and it is the lowest in the whole of the world.
The whole world. And we are about 45%.
So that's where your leadership has worked, Mr. President.
And this started in 1971.
71.
Since 71 when I took over. Since then we brought it.
And one last question which is very I mean, up to date, that what we think is the causes of the present popular uprising when we have that here in the country.
Yes.
A very great resurgence.
Yes.
And as if there has been electric shock.
Yes. I think it's a cumulative effect of many factors. It's not one thing we can be attributed to that. Basically, it is the Indian government which has provided this opportunity to Kashmiris. Kashmiris in the beginning thought that they perhaps could settle down as honorable people with India, those living there. But as the time went on, they found that Indian leadership had never forgiven them, never accepted them as a part of their country, although they made them a part of constitution and provided them with many facilities. But at heart they were not accepted. For example, their demographic complexion all the time was being changed, efforts were being made to change their complexion. Yes, and then their religious identity being dyed into it. So all these efforts came to a climax as the time went on. And Indian leadership almost found it very essential to take it to climax for the reason that around Kashmir, Afghan movement had taken place, and other movements in the world were taking place, the liberation and freedom movements. And revival of religious Afghanistan, revival of Islam and religion perhaps was coming to the top. So that was a very great threat to Indian leadership from the inside. And if this happens, then a revival of Islam in India itself might become a factor to be recognized. So they stepped up their activities in Kashmir in order to clinch that on from, so that Pakistan remains unviable and Kashmir ultimately is merged with India. In fact, it is the Indian government, the steps taken by the Indian government, which accelerated the pace of this movement, which was going on, of course, over a period of time. Then besides that, of course, stability, military stability of Pakistan and economic stability, political stability during the time of Ziaul Haq also contributed a lot.
Sorry.
No, it's all right.
It is such a fantastic thing that you said in the
the stability in Pakistan is a very great country factor towards what is happening and what would have happened in Kashmir. So if Pakistan was not stable, then no matter what happened, elsewhere would not affect the Kashmir. And of course, then the consciousness and awareness of the Kashmiri youth, people who got education, they're highly educated people, very intelligent, more intelligent, if not more than Bengalis, which are as intelligent as Bengalis themselves, So all these intelligent people could not be contained within that area. They had to seek avenues outside. And then, of course, the surrounding circumstances in Afghanistan, particularly where the Kashmiris got an opportunity to go and join the training camps and fight, and finally the human psychology itself, the cycle of human psychology or human history, which Quran says has to be repeated time and again. That cycle also overtook the Kashmiris, and having remained pacifist most of the time during the past 100 years, it was a psychological reaction, human reaction to what had happened in the past. So all these factors put together created this movement of resistance. And now, of course,
people are involved.
People are involved to such an extent that they don't need to be supported or instigated, but who want to see.
The sacrifices are tremendous.
unprecedented.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Your questions are actually related to history. And to answer these questions in detail.
But the history is more relevant to the present also.
It is no doubt relevant.
I would
For
not.
a person like me who is busy with future, it's very difficult to go back. So,
We'll come to this future when you when over be occupied.
well, inshallah, when I have a moment of rest and I have ceased to function, then perhaps I'll have that reflection of history and historical events.
This is contemporary history going on.